All right, Coach. Not exactly the result you're looking for against the Bearcats, but you did get a chance to play some more of your young players. So, what do you take away from a match like this?
Yeah, it's been a comedy of injuries. Not that we think it's very funny, but it was great to have Ava back. We've been just nursing so much through that it's hard to get any kind of continuity. But they're fighting, they're competing. It gave us a different kind of look today. We had to change the lineup within the match as well, more so due to performance. But trying to find that consistency and who can score for us. Heidi stepped up big again, 2 back-to-back matches, which is great because she's in the teens jumping, day in and day out. It was great to have Ava back finally. So, we saw plenty of bright spots. We're competing, we're not just rolling over and dying. And, you got to appreciate a team who it's hard to show up every day and then kind of have similar results, but they're fighting and they're adapting to, the lineup that we have and the people that we have available. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was it having Ava back in the lineup again, especially considering Emily's injury last match?
Right. And so then we were utilizing 2 outsides that, it's not even their natural position. When they're announcing the lineup, we have 3 middle blockers on the floor, but Sasha's been in the middle, she's been on the right, she's been on the left, back to the right. It's nice to have that flexibility, but also for Ava, where she's played really both pins throughout much of her career. That's a natural position for her and where she started off the season. So it was great to have somebody who that's their true position playing it.
We saw Kim Shelton go through a full match. What did you see out of her tonight?
Yeah, I mentioned this in the last press conference that she has been steadily inching her way up, getting more and more comfortable, lowering her errors, being really solid passing. What we saw tonight is I think even a step forward defensively. When we're in a read type of defense, she has the ability to kind of pick apart an attacker and find their angle of approach and put herself into position, and she did a really good job with that. Whereas early on, early in her time on the floor, she was just going to the spot and kind of staying there. And as she got more and more comfortable, seeing her become a true defender like we know she can be.
What was the biggest difference between the team you saw in the first set versus the one in the second set where you ended up fighting Cincinnati until right at the end?
Yeah, I think, the first set is always, they tried. I thought we came out of the gates actually really early. We had a little bit of a lead, maybe a 2-point lead pretty early, and then it was getting stuck in a rotation. So we also had, I think it was 3 back-to-back service errors. So it's a game of momentum, right? And that's pretty deflating, and that's when the kind of ghosts start creeping in of, uh-oh, not again. And these are players that are learning to win collectively as a group and given the day in different positions. So I think there was that, and then you hear a player like Ava in the huddle, and even our captain saying, "All right, enough's enough." Make sure that you leave everything out there on the floor and stop being afraid. And I think that's where you saw that change in the second half, is getting back to where we came out.
You got the edge in aces, blocks, errors were fairly close. What would you say proved to be the difference tonight?
Well, service errors were big. I think we lost by a total of less points than we had service errors. Was it 14? And again, it's we got to cut that down. We're capable of better. It looks like we don't work on serving. We work on it daily, and we work on it in different capacities and putting pressure. But you can only replicate it so much. It's still game time, and you still have to be able to perform.
Yeah, speaking of the serving, once again, I saw Maya, and to me, I remember you hear how powerful someone can be at the net, with Alexia is and how McKenna was, but Maya, I've been seeing hearing that type of sound all the way from back in the serve line. How has it been like working with her on her serve as she continues to develop?
Yeah, again, she's getting more and more comfortable. We're trying to lower the error, but she really, when she's getting that ball over the net, she's disrupting them a lot, and that's why we switched into that 5-2, is trying to get in row 1, giving us more of a chance to point and score. But if we go back to errors, then of course it's a wash.
Do you have any update, by the way, after any chance to evaluate Emily's after last match?
She's progressing. There's not a timeline, but yeah, she's progressing.
How do you keep a team motivated now? Because, losing 9 of your last 10, last six straight now. How do you kind of keep the team, motivated and really, and focused on the future?
Well, we have 9 matches left. I mean, we take it one day at a time, again, because I have to get the injury report at night and in the morning and who we're going to have ready for practice. So we have to think narrow and really, really small. So that's part of it, is we know we have 9 matches left. There's still plenty of season left, but certain goals can't be achieved. So now we have to reevaluate, how do we look back on the season, and how can we be proud of it? What legacy are the seniors going to leave? What legacy is every person going to leave on this team? Because this is never going to be the same team again, right? And so we want to make sure, because we're proud of the people that we have here. They're battling, they're giving what they can and what they're capable of. And so we're trying to just make the most of achieving it. And there's plenty of upsets, with this transfer portal and just all of the shifting around and conference realignments and things like that. You see more parity than ever. We said in the locker room, why can't that be us? It can be. And so I think there's still plenty to compete for and play for. We can't think about how many in a rows it is. Whether you're winning or losing, you never can get too full of yourself. So we're taking it one day at a time.
Considering that you talked about, working on serving daily, after you see a match like this with this many service errors, how do you adjust what you do in practice with serve going forward?
Yeah, well, we're trying to get consistent. I mean, that's something that we're focusing on, is trying to get 2 in a row, trying to get 3 in a row, trying to keep increasing how many rows. But they can be to 20 in a row, and it's still not the game. So we try to replicate different focus points, different locations, being able to short deep and kind of feel their own serve and their capability, but can't replicate that adrenaline.
Good for me, okay. So Coach, obviously it's the following game and the space game. We look around, we see people in costumes and in space attire. What does it mean to look around and see that, to keep the energy high in the venue?
I loved the blind ref. That was classic. Our fans have always been great and so supportive and getting into the spirit of the season. And yeah, because of the hurricane and having to postpone the space game, we kind of lumped it all into one because we have a limited number of home matches left. So we're so thankful for our fans and them buying into the theme for sure.
You talk about the opportunities for upsets moving forward. You go out to Lubbock on Saturday. What is it going to take for you to get the upset over there?
Yeah, diving in and being able to build on what worked well. There was plenty, I think, on both the offensive and defensive side, being able to stay disciplined. We get, a couple of monster blocks early in the set, even if they weren't terminal, and then we start reaching. So being able to extend the amount of time, even especially within a rally, of how much we can stay disciplined. And that's something that we still have a whole lot of young and new players to this group. You would think that they're veteran by now, but they're still in their first collegiate season. And it has to be learned.
You talk about, those young players. You also talk about, the legacy of the seniors on this squad. How do you kind of balance that as you kind of prepare those younger players as you move forward beyond this season versus that, leaving that legacy that you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the art and the science of coaching right there. Is, those seniors are starting to feel it, I'm sure, and they feel it from day one. This is their last preseason. This is their last this. But, they don't really talk about it. They've done such a good job of keeping it about this team and one day at a time that it probably is there in the back of their minds, but they don't make it about them. They don't make it about the seniors. They don't make it about, anything more dramatic than trying to be the best team that we can be.
Last question.
We've talked in previous press conferences about Chloe Stewart's vocal leadership on the floor. Of course, she's one of those fifth-year seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Who on this team have you kind of seen kind of developing in terms of that leadership among the non-seniors?
Among the non-seniors, well, I think Schomer's, has been kind of that steadying person on the floor. She is one of our captains, of course, but she, has some experience as well from last year, and then understudying to Amber 2 years ago. And so I think there's different types of leadership, right? And for her, it's kind of that steadying, just trying to be as consistent as she can emotionally and trying to reach players individually. Maya has done that, when she goes on the floor too, just trying to obviously distribute and run the offense. But gosh, I could talk about every player in different capacities that are non-seniors just learning to right now. Ava, I think, stepped up vocally today. She's been doing a great job from the sidelines the last couple weeks, but I thought she was able to still play her game and step up vocally today as well.
All right, awesome. Well, best of luck and love it, Coach.
Thanks.